Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name's Gabi.
And I'm Charlotte.
And we have a new angle today, but nonetheless, we're still giving you all the facts about the 2024 Hyundai Elantra Luxury Edition. If you guys didn't know, this is actually a refresh model. So in 2024, we got a bold new look for the front end of the car, but there's also a couple tech features that we just didn't have last year.
Absolutely.
So what are we gonna do today, Charlotte?
Today, we're gonna give you guys a full and complete walkthrough of the powertrain of this vehicle, also the exterior, the interior, and also answer your questions because this is a live stream video. So if you do have any questions about this vehicle, make sure that you're typing them in the chat as we go through. But without further ado, let's get rid of this angle and get right into the exterior.
All right. So, first things first, the Hyundai Elantra is a compact sedan. So it's very fuel efficient. It also starts at a great price point. Now this isn't exactly the starting or entry trim level, it's the luxury. So it's 3 up from the base. It's gonna start at $27,999 Canadian, and you can even get this exact vehicle with the hybrid powertrain if that's more your style. Taking a look at the front end, this is where we're going to see a majority of the changes for the fresh model year. We have a much more narrow front look. So the car looks a bit sportier, a bit more aggressive, and I think it looks very nice. We now have LED headlights as well too. In the past, if you've been watching our videos for a while, you knew I would always talk about why would they call it a luxury trim but still have regular bulbs. So they improved upon that. And that's a big win in my books. So full LED headlight system, daytime running lights, that kind of thing. And then we even have this beautiful satin accent that expands all the way across the front end of the vehicle, tying in the look very nicely. It also matches the updated Hyundai emblem very, very well. Now, Charlotte, if you want to zoom in a little closer, one thing, I mean, the logo hasn't changed, but now it's almost pressed into the paint itself. So it has a sleek, low profile look. At the very bottom of our grille, we have this rectangular thing there, and that is actually one of the major safety functions of this car, or what the major safety functions utilize. That is a radar sensor, so as I'm driving this vehicle, if anything were to happen, like a vehicle cutting me off, slamming on the brakes, brake checking you, whatever, the car will alert you that there's a risk of a collision, if there really is. Now, after that warning, if I fail to react as a driver, the vehicle has the capacity to brake, so to avoid a collision, and that works for vehicles, cyclists, pedestrians, and even in junctions, so if you're making a left turn. Not only that, it's also going to be utilized for smart cruise control and highway drive assist. So great safety functions on the Hyundai Elantra. We'll come over to the side and I'll quickly show you the wheels, and then right after that we'll pop the hood and talk about the powertrain. So these are 17-inch alloys. I do quite like the design. Now this exterior paint color is called Ecotronic gray, and the gray that's within the alloy actually matches it almost perfectly. So if you want a matchy-matchy vehicle, go for the Ecotronic gray.
Ray in the chat just said, oh my goodness, the car is so clean. Detailer did such a good job.
What can I say?
You're looking at the detailer.
I do what I can. I did not clean the inside of this car, so just be nice, okay? All right, so let's pop the hood. Now, powering this vehicle, if you don't opt for the hybrid, it's going to have a 2-liter 4-cylinder inline 4-cylinder. Let's lift that up. You do have a prop hood for this. It's not hydraulic, and this is your 2-liter. So horsepower output is going to be 147, and the torque is 132. This isn't a rocket ship. It's not a sports car. If you want something with a little more pep in its step, get the N-Line Ultimate, or better yet, the Elantra N. But this vehicle does its job, and it does it well. So the fuel efficiency is fantastic. And let me tell you, while it may not take off like a rocket, you're still going to get some decent pickup, and you do have a drive mode select that allows you to switch it into sport mode, smart mode, whatever you like driving best in. Now that's not just a gimmick, it actually changes the way the vehicle is going to shift and respond to throttle input, giving you a much better feel. All right, let's work our way over to the side. Right over here, we have turn signal indicators mounted onto your body color mirrors. And then on the flip side, you'll see on the actual mirror portion, we do have that caution icon. That's going to be our blind spot detector. Essentially, as I'm driving my car, if the vehicle senses a vehicle in either your left or right blind spot, it'll illuminate and then it'll beep if I go to signal a turn. Not only that, Hyundai takes it a step further by also adding corrective assistance. So if I start merging lanes, there's a car in there, my vehicle will revert me into my originating lane, avoiding a collision. This is also new for 2024, so on our door handle, you may notice there's no more button, but there is a little bit of an indent. So I can still utilize a proximity key entry by essentially walking up to the car, putting my hand behind the handle, the car will unlock, and then when I'm done driving, I can press down on that indent and it will lock again. I absolutely love this feature, especially with Canadian winters. The old buttons could sometimes get stuck if it was really icy, and also you don't have to dig for your key. You can also take it a step further by using a digital key to touch, essentially allowing you to open and start your car with your phone, which is quite handy. Charlotte will show it better when we hop inside, but there is a power sunroof on this car. And another thing that has changed for the new model year is the inclusion of 2 more airbags. We now have 8 airbags in this car. The rear end has also changed ever so slightly, so there's not a huge change here, but we have a fully extended LED taillight. LED is going to start on the luxury trim for the Elantra, and it almost has an H motif, so something that we see working its way into a lot of Hyundai's vehicles. Elantra is written boldly across the back, and it's again that low profile finish, so it looks very nice, super cohesive around the car. And then we do have one of my favorite things, and something that a lot of compact sedans just don't offer, an actual tailgate release. So you give that a press and it opens. You don't have to go back to the driver's area and flip a little switch or open it from your key fob. It is so nice to have that. It's also pretty convenient because if you change the setting in your infotainment system, you can also have your trunk open with proximity. So I can walk up to it. It's great if you're carrying a bunch of stuff you need to put in your trunk. Stand here for 3 seconds, power opens on its own, put your stuff in, and then close it. For space back here, there's a pretty decent amount. Again, for a sedan.
But there is a good amount.
Yeah, sedans are always hard to show because, I mean, it's dark in here, and the opening does look small. Now, once you get whatever you need to put past that opening, there's an abundance of space. Seriously, so much room. And then you can fold down your rear seats as well, too. Left and right, 60-40 split. One thing the Elantra does have that I really do like is the inclusion.
Woo!
It's a spare tire.
Hey, boo.
Spare tires, they're few and far between. A lot of compact cars, especially at this price point, are not going to offer a traditional spare, but it's great peace of mind. Another thing I will point out is Hyundai has 5 years and limited kilometers of roadside assistance, so you can utilize that if you don't know how to change a spare. But you should. All right, and then a couple more design elements I'll point before we hop inside. So along our rear window, we do have this, I want to say parametric style plate. Plate. Shield, I guess. And then we have more of that beautiful satin accents. So again, that same material that we see on our Hyundai emblems, the Elantra badging, it looks really good. I do think this is a sleek looking car. If gray is not your color, it comes in a bunch of fun, sporty colors. You can even get that classic cyber gray that everyone really seems to like. And then one last thing I'll touch on is the transmission. So I mentioned it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder gas engine. You also have an intelligent variable transmission, which essentially operates like an automatic. You put it in drive and go. However, it is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to when it comes to CVTs. And if you want to know more, we have done a podcast episode on it. Also, the transmission will really change its artificial shift points depending on what drive mode you're in. So sport mode is going to allow you to incorporate a longer gear, get some more power in, and then have a more, I guess, quick feeling acceleration. And that's about it for the exterior of this car. Shall we take a look inside, Charlotte?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let's switch.
All right, I gotta get my head in the game. I'm feeling a little squirrely today. Been running around a little bit today, but it's
Charlotte,
all been good.
She just arrived back at the dealership, I think 2 minutes before we went live.
And I ran. But I ran because I was so excited to take a look at the interior of this vehicle, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Ooh, it's warm in there too. But one of my favorite features that this vehicle has got to be the sound system that it comes equipped with. So despite this being only a couple up from the base, is you do have a premium sound system. So you have a Bose premium sound system with 8 speakers and external amplifier. So this car, you know when it's on the road, it's going to be a ton of fun inside the cabin listening to it. Some of the other features that we are going to have and some design elements is we have some nice gray stitching. It's great contrast between all of the black elements that we have, even with some soft touch up here. For your mirrors, they are power controlled. And then for your windows, you do have an express and obstacle detection for the driver and just regular automatic windows for everyone else in this vehicle. Now, when it comes to seating, you do have a leatherette seating, and this is actually a manual for the driver. So it is 6-way manual with the passengers being 4-way manual. And then also I will note that your trunk release is down here and also for your fuel door. On this side, you do have a brightness adjuster and also your traction control. Do you want to come around?
For sure.
Perfect.
Charlotte, would you say there's one thing about this car you wish you could change?
I wish I could change the seat.
Yeah.
I wish it was powered. I feel like calling it the luxury and having a manual seat is a little counterintuitive, but that's just my feedback.
Okay. Hyundai, take notes. Just kidding. It truly is a great car, and if it's just mainly you driving this car, maybe it's your commuter, then typically you're not changing your seat too much, so you kind of set it and forget it.
I was going to say, it's set it and forget it, and
yeah,
that's
exactly.
okay. And this definitely is a vehicle that is designed for efficiency, but also giving you a great experience while you are in here. I will say the entirety of the cabin is very much a driver focused, and you can tell that even from this bad boy right here. So very much everything is angled towards the driver, easy for me to access, not necessarily as easy for Gabi to access, but she of course is still able to do so from the passenger seat. But let's talk about what we have going on with the steering wheel. Again, we're gonna have some different stitching, which I love, and we have a really cool design when it comes to some of the spokes that we do have. This is leather wrapped, it's also going to be heated, and on here is you have full access to your media controls and virtual assistant and different media modes, but then you're also gonna have control to your navigation-based smart cruise control, your highway drive assist, lane keep assist, and lane following distance. All of that can be accessed right from the steering wheel, and that handy-dandy camera located right behind the mirror. Now, when it comes to our screens, we have a dual 10.25-inch screens, which again is great to see on this vehicle. So in the center, you can take a look that we can actually cycle through various different info. So something like your vehicle specs for how you drive, which I absolutely love, as well as a digital speedometer. You can also get your navigation and then your TPMS. And then from here, of course, safety settings. Of course, from here, you're also going to see things like your mileage, speedometer, tachometer in the analog version, and of course, your distance till empty. And currently, this vehicle is reading 627 kilometers until empty. So it's always fun, I think, to get a little bit of an estimate of what this vehicle can really do. If you take a look at this screen, you will see that it's opened up to our navigation. As I mentioned, we do have that in this vehicle, and I really enjoy this software. I love the sleek, clean look that it gives. And from here, there's a ton of other features such as phone projection. So that's going to be your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which you do have to utilize a wired connection on because it is a bigger screen. You also have quiet mode, so even if you're driving this vehicle and you've got kiddos in the backseat, if you want to dampen that premium sound system and still enjoy it from up here, you can do so by enacting quiet mode. Also, you're going to have tons of different areas for climate control, so you can access that from here and down here too. Your Blue Link, which is Hyundai's telematics system. And for any of those safety features that Gabi mentioned as she was going throughout the exterior of the vehicle, if you want to, change the beeping, change the sensitivity, turn them into only a active alert instead of assisting, then you can access them all from here. And it actually truly is easy to do so. Now, one thing, I don't know if you guys have picked it up, but you'll see we have some ambient lighting in this vehicle, and again, it's really emphasizing the width, and I love how this really mirrors what we see on the back when it comes to the chrome accenting on the hood, and then also the taillights in the rear. So ambient lighting, tons of different options that you can pick from, and you can also link them to your drive mode. So if you want to have sunrise red for that sporty feel in sport mode, you can actually link that to it, which is really cool to see. I love features like that to give you a really cohesive and customizable experience. Now, despite this blockage right here, I actually really do like how this all is configured because it's angled towards me. It's not framed in piano black. It's just like a nice, I guess this is kind of like a textured plastic-y trim, but it is very easy to use. You've got your push to start, and from here you've got map, navigation, radio, media, and then volume or tune knob, or not, volume. There we go. And then from here, favorites button, setup, seek and track, and then your climate control is going to be down here. And the nice thing is that it is dual zone. So that's great because you've got a literal wall between you two. So Gabi, you can have your own climate control, I can have mine, and never the two shall meet.
Can I turn on my heated seat by myself?
If you have small hands or long fingers.
I have both.
So convenient. This is the one little odd thing, but honestly, if you're in this vehicle every day, it's not something that's going to you're not really going to think about. It's only because Gabi and I spend so much time in different vehicles. But you do have heated seats in this vehicle. You've got front and rear defrost, recirculated air, everything along those lines. And then if you move downwards, you can see you've got a wireless phone charger. And then also, it almost looks like it's hidden underneath here. It's tucked away, but you also have your options for charging and connectivity. So USB for data transfer and charging, USB-C for just charging, and a 12-volt as well. Your drive mode select is going to be located right beside the gear shift, and you have normal, sport, and smart. And like Gabi said, each of these are going to change those artificial shift points to give you a different response. Sport, obviously a little bit sportier. It's not necessarily going to help your fuel economy, but it is a lot of fun to drive in. And smart is actually going to change it depending on your driving habits and put you into normal or eco as the vehicle sees fits and learns how you like to drive it. You also have, of course, your parking camera with dynamic guidelines, so you can see all of those there. And you also have a different view too. Ooh, love that. Nice and wide.
Love options.
Love options. Leather top gear shift, which I love, electronic parking brake, and also you have integrated auto hold, which if you bring the vehicle to a full and complete stop, you actually can take your foot off of the brake and the vehicle will hold you there, even though you're still on drive.
Ray is asking if we talked about what the thing on the left of the dashboard is.
This?
Yeah.
It's design.
Still unfunctional.
Yeah, it's design.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
It's there.
It's there. Everything I've read says it's design only, but because
It doesn't do anything.
yeah,
But
that's horsepower.
On the Elantra N, it's actually configurable.
Yes.
Yes. Drive mode button.
Key fob, X-style key fob, and then also you have your remote start. And then your cup holders, nice and deep, so if you do have something that is a little bit bigger, you can definitely fit it in there or taller, and this is framed in piano black. I think this actually is a good spot for piano black, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're necessarily like touching there. Center console, you have a decent amount of covered space. This is definitely pretty nice, and it also functions as a little bit of an armrest too, if you want to utilize it that way, so very comfortable. Up top, you got a sunroof. Woo-hoo.
Power tilt and slide.
Power tilt and slide.
And it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
wide.
Wide, tilt and slide.
There's a lot of room between
girl.
us two.
Do you want to take a look at the back seat?
Yeah, for sure. So, upon doing some research, the Elantra actually features more legroom than the Corolla and the Civic, which is two of its competitors.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you definitely have a decent amount of leg space back here. I'll show you guys too, because this seat is reclined more and moved back a little bit more as well. So decent amount of space, especially if you're using flat shoes, which I'm not today. You also have a mesh pocket here, and you have dual USB-Cs that are able to be accessed. When it comes to the center, you'll see I have drop-down cup holders and armrest, and I'm pleasantly surprised by the amount of headroom. You'll notice that it does bump up from where the sunroof is. So it's flat, 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 and then it bumps up. So it does give you a little bit of extra just to account for the margin of the sunroof. So again, very spacious cabin. Here's what the middle seat looks like. So you can fit both feet on the hump, even though it is a little bit smaller. Obviously, it's going to be more comfortable if your friends allow you to use some legroom. But again, despite this being a 5-seater and a smaller vehicle, definitely comfortable for what you can get with it.
All right.
Any questions about the vehicle, whether it be the interior or the exterior?
We did get a question from Samarth asking about why is there always a Porsche on the other side, old or new, there's always one. Because these are princesses, they have to stay inside or else they'll get wet.
They're inside cars.
Yesterday it was a thunderstorm, so. Okay, I might just walk around the car, show some highlights. So again, LEDs, nice big change for the luxury trim, and then a fresh new look for the front end, period. So it definitely looks a lot more aggressive. Very, I want to say especially with this exterior color, the Ecotronic gray, very sharky.
Very much.
If that means anything to you
Okay,
guys,
apparently I'm getting roasted about the sunroof. I just hold it automatically.
You just press it once.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I just hold it.
Another nice look. I really do like how symmetrical the grille is. It's just a perfect clean line. Sorry that unfocused the camera a couple times. You can also tell the character lines on the hood too just kind of blend in with the grille lines. I think it looks really nice. All right, let's work our way to the side. Another look at the wheels. So again, your 17-inch alloys. Very nice. Could have done a better job. So typically we show the wheels on that side of the car, but I didn't today, and I didn't clean this wheel. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know I originally only started with cleaning half of the car, period.
Yep.
But then I figured might as well clean all of it.
Had the extra time.
All right, gas for fuel, it's just regular unleaded fuel. I drive the Kia Forte, which is the sister to this vehicle, same powertrain, that kind of thing. I average about 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers because I recently changed my driving style.
Wow.
And you can make
That's
this car...
maturity right there.
I know, right? You can make this car very, very efficient. But again, there is always the hybrid option if that makes more sense to you. If you like the features and the look of the Elantra, it's essentially the same thing, different suspension though, and different powertrain, of course. But same aesthetics, I should say. All right, and one more thing I'll point out, I guess I can't really show you, but along the rear end of the vehicle, when you throw it in reverse, it also has a function called rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist. That was a mouthful, but essentially if you're backing out of a parking lot and someone comes from either the left or right side, as I am doing right now, the car will alert the driver, and if the driver keeps reversing and there's a risk of hitting somebody, it will emergency brake for you. It's a really great feature to have, especially with the shorter car. If you have two big trucks or giant SUVs parked beside you, it is kind of hard to see what's happening, but it's a good safety function to have. All right, Charlotte, any questions?
I'm just taking a look. It wasn't quite letting me.
Paul asked if I started driving in eco mode. No, it's still sport every day. Right after I plug my phone in, the first thing I do is put it in sport mode. But no, I've just been easier on the throttle, I guess.
James Bond says lots of hard angles on that car. There definitely is a lot of angles on this vehicle, and that is just a part of Hyundai's design language when it comes to some of the styling, especially in the body lines. I know some people aren't a fan of kind of that Z shape, but I think it looks good. I think it looks good when the light hits it, but I can understand how people would like or dislike it.
Yeah. Let me quickly show the hood again. Someone said it's hybrid. This one's not a hybrid. This is just a regular inline 4. And more sharp lines along the side. So there's this huge parametric line.
Yes. So this one is the gas. You can get a hybrid variant, and that is going to be an additional $2,500 Canadian.
I really like how the interior materials match the exterior Hyundai emblem. And the seat, I think they did a great job with styling on the seat. Even though it's just a nice black interior, it's not boring at all, and they are very comfy. The bolstering is forgiving. It's not a sports car, right? But it's a comfy seat. And there we go, steering wheel again, all your controls, nice and big. I do like how simplified Kia and Hyundai steering wheels are. Sometimes I hop in another manufacturer and it's just so hard to figure out what's doing what. But this one's pretty easy. You've got your cruise control, speed selector, distance selector, and then steering assistance on or off. Then everything else is straightforward, like volume, voice commands. All right. Charlotte, anything we should answer?
I can't remember. Someone was asking about the fuel economy. I can't quite remember it off the top of my head, so I'm just going to see if we have our
6.8 technically.
Perfect. Thank you.
But you could definitely see it much better. If I can do better, if I can get into 5 liters per, then guys, anything is possible.
That's a true test.
All right. Oh, it is worth mentioning this car has Blue Link, right?
Yes. Yep. I did show that on the screen.
So what do you do with Blue Link?
So that is your telematics system when it comes to Hyundai. So that means you are able to utilize your phone to do things like remote start, set the climate control, and everything along those lines.
All right. So I think that will probably end off today's live video.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today for Hyundai. Tomorrow it's Friday.
Sunday, yep. Monday, Tuesday.
Hyundai.
Hyundai. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Please leave a like if you're still on.
Yes.